Hartmann believed humanity would have to learn the truth about life the hard way, that they will spend thousands of years searching for a utopia and happiness in every possible place. Only after every form of hope had failed would humanity finally become willing to question existence. Hartmann called this the 3 stages of illusion, and he compared the development of civilization to the aging of one person. The ancient world was childhood. The religious Middle Ages were youth. Modern civilization is adults. And the final stage would be humanity's old age, a point where the species had become intelligent, experienced, and powerful enough to finally understand that all of its striving hasn't achieved much. The first illusion is the belief that happiness can be found here during our ordinary earthly lives. People search for happiness through health, youth, love, family, friendship, money, comfort, social status, power, art, knowledge, religion, and hope. Hartmann goes through these one by one, and his argument is not simply that some people fail to obtain them. Obviously, some people do find love, become wealthy, or have success in other ways. But another problem is that even when these things are obtained, they do not create the lasting happiness people expected. Health feels valuable mainly because sickness is painful. Eating usually feels good because hunger came first. Comfort removes inconvenience. Success creates new fears, new responsibilities, and the possibility of losing what was gained. Desire promises satisfaction, but once one desire is fulfilled, another takes its place, and even the happiest parts of life are temporary. So the first illusion is not just, I picked the wrong thing. It is the deeper belief that the right object of desire must still be out there somewhere. Maybe this relationship will make me happy, or this career, or more money, maybe one more achievement. Hartmann thought people keep changing the object while protecting the illusion. They assume happiness failed because they chose badly, not because the promise itself was false. Eventually, though, civilization begins to lose confidence in earthly happiness. And that brings us to the second illusion. The second stage is the belief that happiness can be found after death. If life here is disappointing, painful, unfair, and temporary, then perhaps this world was never where happiness was supposed to happen. Perhaps suffering is only a test. Perhaps the real reward comes later. Hartmann associated this stage especially with Christianity and the religious culture of the Middle Ages. Humanity had begun to recognize the misery of earthly life, but it had not yet given up on happiness altogether. Instead, it moved happiness somewhere else, out of this world and into heaven. The world may not make things right, but another world will. Hartmann believed this illusion would eventually weaken as philosophy, science, and critical thought made belief in immortality harder to sustain. Once humanity stopped trusting in compensation after death, it would need somewhere else to place its hope, and this is where the third illusion begins. The third illusion is the belief that happiness will be created in the future, not in heaven, but here, and just not yet. This is the modern faith in progress. Science will solve disease, technology will eliminate hard labor, political reform will create justice, economic growth will end poverty, education will overcome ignorance, a better society will finally make life worth living. Hartmann clearly believed humans could advance in knowledge, organization, science, and technical power. What he rejected was the assumption that these advances would produce a lasting positive experience. A train can make travel faster, a machine can work easier, medicine can remove some diseases, more food can support a larger population. But Hartmann asked what all of this ultimately does. Does humanity actually become happier? Or does progress mostly remove inconvenience while creating new needs, new expectations, new competition, and more people capable of suffering? That is what makes the third illusion especially important. Humanity cannot dismiss progress before trying it. They have to build the machines, reform society, expand knowledge, and increase its control over nature. Because only then can it discover that even successful progress does not solve the fundamental problem. Hartmann thought humanity should continue developing, not because progress would save existence, but because development would give humanity the knowledge and power needed to understand existence clearly. Humanity cannot reject life until they try everything. After these 3 stages comes what Hartmann describes as humanity's old age. By then, the species has experienced earthly pleasure, religious hope, and faith in future progress. None of them produced what they promised. Hartmann imagines this future humanity as ancient, tired, and completely self-aware. He writes that the illusions are dead and hope is extinct. This does not mean every person is screaming in misery. It is something quieter than that. Humanity has simply stopped expecting existence to become worthwhile. It no longer believes the next invention, the next reform, the next generation, or the next world will finally justify everything that came before. He did not think individuals should simply withdraw from society or privately escape life. He believed humanity still had to participate in what he calls the world process. It had to continue developing consciousness, knowledge, cooperation, and power until the conclusion was no longer the opinion of scattered individuals. It had to become the conscious conclusion of civilization itself. And this is how Hartmann arrives at what he calls world redemption. His explanation was metaphysical, but in plain English, world redemption means ending the suffering and endless striving for utopia. Hartmann's prediction may turn out to be wrong. Hopefully, universal extinction will happen before the end of the third stage, or humanity may continue creating new versions of hope forever. We may move from religion to technology, from technology to artificial intelligence, from Earth to space, always believing the next stage will finally make existence worth continuing. But Hartmann believed every new promise would eventually meet the same fate. It would be tested and it would disappoint, and humanity would move one step closer to the final realization. Most extinctionists already understand the conclusion, and just from comparing possible technology to the facts of nature. If suffering is built into existence, then improving life may never be enough. So, do you agree with Hartmann and think one day the rest of humanity will catch up with extinctionists? Let me know in the comments.